Ko-woon is in the middle of designing a wedding dress when someone suddenly shouts that a bride's gown has been mixed up. At the same time, her daughter Sora has already finished school, but she is still stuck there because it is raining and she forgot to bring an umbrella. With no other choice, she calls her mother to come pick her up. Ko-woon rushes over right away. Once Sora gets into the car, her mother scolds her for not being prepared and reminds her that she should always carry an umbrella when the weather looks bad. But instead of heading straight home, Ko-woon quickly drives to a wedding venue to deliver the dress that was accidentally switched. On the way there, she keeps getting phone calls saying the bride is already panicking and crying because the ceremony is about to start in just 10 minutes, while the dress is still on the road. The whole mess is not even Ko-woon's fault. It happened because of one of the boutique workers. Thankfully, they make it just in time, and the situation is finally resolved. Later on, the story moves to Sora's ballet lessons. She is supposed to attend class after school, but because there is a girl there she does not like, named Gina, she starts avoiding the class altogether. Instead of going inside, Sora ends up wandering into the Taekyon room next door. Taekyon is a traditional Korean martial art, and inside she finds the instructor sitting there alone. As it turns out, the instructor has just been rejected by the woman he likes, so he is heartbroken and has no students around at all. Sora even teases him from time to time, but somehow, after that day, she keeps hanging around in his classroom and chatting with him. The only problem is that she lies to her mother and keeps pretending she is still attending ballet. Afterwards, Sora and her mother go out to eat together. Sora finds it strange because her mother suddenly treats her to dinner at a restaurant.
엄마 돈 많아졌어?
엄마 돈 원래 많아.
Ko-woon tells her to just ask for whatever she wants. Sora is surprised, but when her mother says she means it, she asks for the newest video games, and Ko-woon really buys them all for her. When they get home, the two of them start playing together, but Sora complains that their television is old and not good anymore. Without hesitation, Ko-woon immediately buys a brand new TV. That night, she even goes into Sora's room and sleeps beside her, something she normally never does. The next morning, Ko-woon gently brushes Sora's hair and clips it back for her. Not long after that, they head to the house of Sora's aunt and uncle. This is not unusual for them since they visit often. Sora is always spoiled there, and her aunt and uncle love her deeply. They treat her as if she were their own child. Not long after, a customer at the bridal boutique where Ko-woon works notices a design sketch lying on her desk. She instantly falls in love with it and asks for a dress to be made based on that design. She brings the request to Ko-woon's boss, Mrs. Mi-ja, and Mrs. Mi-ja agrees. But just then, Ko-woon comes in, grabs the sketchbook, and apologizes, saying that the design has already been reserved by someone else, even though that is not true. Once the customer leaves, Mrs. Mi-ja immediately scolds Ko-woon and demands to know why she would turn away someone who clearly wanted to place an order. It is then revealed that the dress was never meant for sale at all.
이건 안 돼.
소라 거야!
Ko-woon had designed it especially for Sora to wear someday when she grows up. She made it just for her daughter. This is wedding dress. That night, Sora tells her mother that she has a school picnic the next day and asks for kimbap, snacks, and drinks to bring along. Her mother insists that there is no need to buy anything outside because she wants to prepare the kimbap herself. The problem is, Ko-woon is not good at cooking, and Sora knows it. She even suggests just buying the food instead of going through the trouble. But her mother still tries her best, staying up all night just to prepare everything for her. The next morning, it starts to rain. The two of them stand by the window, watching the downpour. Because of the weather, the picnic is canceled, and Sora feels disappointed, especially knowing her mother already worked so hard to make all that food. Trying to cheer her up, Ko-woon suddenly suggests going to the beach instead. She says it would be a waste to eat all that effort at home. She even plans to call the school and say that Sora needs permission because of a family birthday. The problem is, Sora once told her teacher that both of her grandmothers had already passed away. In the end, her mother decides to handle the excuse herself. They spend the day at the beach, enjoying the food together and making the most of the moment. After their little trip, they stop by Sora's aunt and uncle's house for a memorial service for her grandmother. But during the prayer, Ko-woon suddenly collapses and is rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor reveals the truth to her older sibling. Ko-woon has cancer. It becomes clear that she has been hiding her illness all along. She can only smile faintly and apologize for keeping it a secret. She also explains that Sora does not know anything about it yet. Her sibling is devastated after hearing this. Suddenly, everything starts to make sense. The way Ko-woon, who used to be busy with work, has been spending so much time with Sora lately. The way she happily grants every single thing Sora asks for. It turns out she has already been told that she only has a few days left to live. She is suffering from stomach cancer. Knowing that her time is running out, she tries her best to become the kind of mother Sora deserves. She keeps smiling in front of everyone and hides her pain even from her own daughter. She does not want anyone to see her as sick. All she wants is to look happy and give the best of herself to the people she loves. The next day, Sora goes to school as usual. At the school gate, she runs into the Taekyon instructor who is handing out flyers to promote his classes. He is surprised to find out that Sora actually studies there. Sora casually gives him advice about how he should hand out the flyers, suggesting he bring candy and give them out after school instead. Then she walks away, refusing to take one herself. The instructor seems intrigued by her idea and quickly leaves, likely to prepare some candy for next time. The story continues during Sora's lunch break at school. She usually eats alone and does not have any friends. She is also the type of person who refuses to share food or drinks with others because she finds it unhygienic. Because of that, she feels uncomfortable when anyone tries to take her food or drink, especially if they drink directly from her straw. While she is eating, Gina suddenly bothers her by deliberately drinking from her drink and leaving only a little behind, just to tease her. Sora gets upset and reacts by pouring the leftover drink into Gina's food. Seeing her food mixed like that, Gina immediately feels disgusted, and the situation quickly turns into a fight. It becomes serious enough that their parents are called to the school. While Ko-woon is at work, she receives a call asking her to come in. At school, the teacher explains everything. She mentions that Gina could have been a good friend to Sora, but in the past, Gina had been humiliated by her. It turns out that Gina once drank Sora's drink without permission, and Sora reacted harshly, calling her names in front of the whole class. From that moment on, their relationship fell apart, and they have not been close ever since. Later, Sora shows up at the Taekyon class. The instructor is surprised to see her there, especially when she starts helping him by attaching candies to the promotional flyers he had been handing out earlier. It becomes clear that Sora is feeling anxious and worried about her mother being called to school. She asks what usually happens when a teacher calls a parent, and the instructor jokingly scares her by saying it could end badly and that she should hide anything valuable at home. Sora takes it seriously and rushes back home, worried about what might happen. But when she arrives, she hears someone in the bathroom. It is her mother, who is vomiting. Sora immediately becomes concerned, but Ko-woon brushes it off, saying she just ate too much. That night, Sora is doing her homework while her mother prepares dinner. She starts to feel confused because her mother does not seem angry at all. Eventually, she gathers the courage to ask about it. Instead of scolding her, Ko-woon calmly asks why Sora never eats with her classmates, and suggests that sharing food and spending time together can be enjoyable. Sora insists that sharing food is dirty. Her mother tries to explain things gently, talking about how people connect with others as they grow up, and how relationships involve closeness and sharing. Sora, however, says she would rather live on her own. At this point, Sora still does not understand what her mother truly means. She confidently says that she can live without her. Hearing that, Ko-woon becomes both hurt and upset. Sora continues, listing all the things she already does by herself, convinced that she does not need anyone. Ko-woon tries to hide her pain and explains it away as her being busy. But Sora pushes further, saying that she can take care of herself, and even suggests that her aunt cares more about her. She even questions why her mother does not scold her for the fight at school. Frustrated and overwhelmed, Ko-woon tells her to go live with her aunt and walks into her room. Once inside, she breaks down in tears, filled with regret over what she said. Not long after, she comes back out and Sora quickly apologizes. She admits that she wants to stay close to her mother until she grows up. Hearing that, Ko-woon becomes emotional, and the two of them hold each other tightly. The next day, Ko-woon goes to work as usual, but this time she deliberately leaves early because she wants to spend time with Sora. She heads straight to the ballet studio to pick her up, only to find out from one of the students that Sora has not been attending classes for a while. As she steps out of the studio, she immediately calls Sora. At that exact moment, Sora answers the phone while walking out of the Taekyon room. Ko-woon finally learns the truth, that Sora stopped going to ballet because of Gina, even though she knows how much her daughter used to love it. Instead of forcing her, she decides not to push Sora into anything she does not want anymore. Then she comes up with an idea. Since Sora's birthday is coming soon, she encourages her to invite Gina and her classmates to the party. The next day, Sora brings the invitations to school. At first, she seems ready to hand them out, but in the end, she cannot bring herself to do it. When she gets home, the house is already decorated for the party, but she stays quietly in her room, doing her homework while wearing a birthday hat. Ko-woon notices something is off. She tries to ask about Sora's friends, but it soon becomes clear that no one is coming. Still, she keeps her smile and tries to lift the mood. In the end, it is just the two of them celebrating together. They blow out the candles, sing, and spend the evening enjoying each other's company. Wanting to make the day more special, Ko-woon suggests going out to ride a bike. Sora admits that she does not know how to ride one, even though she already has a bicycle. So her mother patiently teaches her, holding onto the bike from behind as they practice. But in the middle of it, Ko-woon suddenly becomes weak. Her vision blurs, her body gives out, and she collapses on the ground. When they get home, she takes a large amount of medication, while Sora quietly watches from a distance. The doctor has already advised her to undergo further treatment instead of relying on medicine alone, but she refuses. She only plans to go through more tests when she truly cannot endure it anymore. Sora is a smart child, and it does not take long for her to realize that something is seriously wrong. She asks her aunt about her mother's condition. Even though her aunt tries to hide the truth, Sora can no longer be fooled. She breaks down in tears after learning how severe it is, and she asks her aunt not to tell her mother that she knows. From that moment on, everything changes. Sora starts forcing herself to smile in front of her mother. She tries to handle things on her own to be strong, and even accompanies her mother to work. In the mornings, she brushes her own hair and prepares herself without help. But once she steps outside the house, she cannot hold it in anymore. She cries after seeing her mother quietly suffering in the bathroom. Still, she wipes her tears and hides her sadness whenever she is around her. One day after school, it rains again, and once again Sora forgets to bring an umbrella. Just as she is about to run through the rain, her mother suddenly appears and covers her with an umbrella. After that, Ko-woon takes her to the boutique. There, Sora becomes curious and asks why her mother never wore a wedding dress when she got married. It turns out that back then, her father did not have much money, but he still tried his best to find a beautiful dress. Then, in a quiet and emotional moment, Sora asks her mother to try on the wedding dress she designed. She even changes her own clothes and playfully takes the role of someone accompanying her mother. Together, they share a simple dance, creating a memory that feels both warm and bittersweet. The next day, Sora goes to the Taekyon studio again. She chats with the instructor while eating ice cream and suddenly asks how to get to a radio station. It feels like a random question at first, but it quietly hints that something is on her mind. Later, her mother picks her up, and Sora asks if she can skip school so she can spend more time with her. Without hesitation, Ko-woon agrees. When they get home, the two of them lie down together on the sofa. Sora drifts into a dream where she is happily at the beach with her mother, until suddenly her mother disappears and leaves her alone. She wakes up in panic and immediately checks her mother's breathing. Relieved to find her still alive, Sora quietly stays by her side. While waiting for her mother to wake up, she secretly writes something down on a piece of paper. The following day, Ko-woon goes to work as usual, but this time she tells Mrs. Mi-ja to start looking for someone to replace her. At first, Mrs. Mi-ja does not understand and even reacts with frustration, saying it is hard to find someone as dedicated as her. But as Ko-woon gently explains that she can no longer continue working and that her time is running out, everything changes. Mrs. Mi-ja is left in shock and sadness, struggling to accept what she is hearing. Even so, she tries to stay strong and tells Ko-woon to go home and rest, pretending to push her away so she does not have to keep working. Around this time, Sora suddenly asks to stay over at her aunt's house, but only if her mother comes along. It feels like she wants to make sure someone is always there, just in case anything happens. While Ko-woon is resting, Mrs. Mi-ja quietly continues working on the wedding dress that Ko-woon once designed for Sora's future. As she works, she cannot hold back her tears, thinking about how much worse Ko-woon's condition has become. One night, Ko-woon looks through old photos of Sora as a child and breaks down in tears. Later, she lies beside Sora again, looking weaker and more fragile than ever. She asks Sora to sing a lullaby, and Sora gently does so.
아침이 오는 소리 품 안에 잠든 너의 너를 사랑해.
But when Sora hopes for her mother to respond, there is only silence. Soon after, Ko-woon is rushed to the hospital by ambulance with Sora's aunt and uncle. She is admitted for treatment, and thankfully she is still alive. From that point on, people visit her every day, including Mrs. Mi-ja. She brings along a photo of the wedding dress that Ko-woon had originally designed for Sora, now completed by her own hands. The dress is finally finished. Seeing all of this, Sora begins to change. She starts doing everything her mother once wished for. She takes care of herself, tries to open up to others, reconciles with Gina, and even invites her classmates to visit her mother in the hospital. Ko-woon is deeply happy to see her daughter finally surrounded by friends. Sora also returns to ballet and works hard to perform on stage because her mother has always wanted to see her dance. She does everything she can to fulfill her mother's wishes. Even Ko-woon, despite the doctor's warnings, pushes herself just so she can attend the performance. Before the show, Mrs. Mija arrives with a collection of ballet costumes. She tells everyone that the outfits were made by Ko-woon, which fills the children with excitement. As Sora gets ready, Mrs. Mija carefully helps her with her costume. Sora seems to understand that it was actually Mrs. Mija who finished everything, but she says nothing. Before stepping onto the stage, Sora is given a flower to wear as a marker so her mother can easily recognize her from the audience. Mrs. Mija knows that Ko-woon's vision has already started to fade. When the performance begins, she goes to sit beside Ko-woon and quietly points out Sora, making sure she can see her daughter clearly, even from a distance. The emotional peak of the story happens when Sora spends the night at the hospital. Her mother's condition has grown much worse. Sora climbs onto the hospital bed and lies beside her, wanting to stay as close as possible. After a while, Sora falls asleep, but the radio beside them is still playing. Then, a broadcaster begins reading a message that was sent in by a listener. It turns out, the message is from Sora herself.
엄마, 많이 아파? 내가 대신 아팠으면 좋겠어. 엄마, 최고 사랑해요.
Hearing this, Ko-woon breaks down and hugs Sora tightly, overwhelmed with emotion. The next morning, Sora wakes up beside her mother. She gently talks to her, thinking she is still resting. She decides to stay with her for the day and quietly leaves the room so she will not disturb her. Outside the room, Sora struggles to hold back her tears. Deep down, she already knows the truth. Her mother has passed away. Soon after, the doctors arrive to check on the patients. When they come to Ko-woon's room, Sora desperately tries to stop them, insisting that her mother is only sleeping. She breaks down, refusing to let anyone take her away. Despite her resistance, the doctors still have to do their job. Her aunt and uncle arrive shortly after and confirm the heartbreaking reality that Ko-woon is gone. The next day, Sora returns from school. It is raining again, but this time she takes out an umbrella she prepared herself. Back then, she always forgot to bring one. Now she never does. She walks through the rain with a quiet smile, looking up at the sky. The story then moves forward to the future. Sora has grown into an adult. Before she passed away, her mother had prepared a special wedding dress design just for her. In the end, Sora finally wears that dress, the one her mother created with love, completing the story with a memory that will stay with her forever. So the moral of the story is sometimes the person you think will always be there is quietly running out of time. And by the time you finally understand their love, all you can do is live the rest of your life missing them.